Welcome back to ASKA. It's Ace. It's day 32 in Bjornborg Village, and the southern edge of town has started to take shape. I like where we ended up. I wish there was a little bit more room down there, and I could have pushed into the woods a little more if I wanted to, but it's getting pretty high off the ground at this point anyway, so let's just stop it there. With the southern edge sort of coming together now, you can see I did a poor job of lining that up exactly east to west, didn't I? So there it is. Definitely crept up towards the north as we were going. But anyways, we're gonna maybe straighten that out. I don't know. I probably will. I'll probably come here and just pick that edge up and bring it all the way down and square it off, since this is all gonna be filled in anyways. So we are getting really close to able to drop down the first foundation for the first longhouse, which is going to be right here. And I've got to straighten this out. I've got to fill this area in right here, make it nice and flat, do the final grading work, and then we'll be ready to put down the foundation for the first longhouse here. And then I'm thinking what I'm going to do is carry this line over to this side of the lake, so like right about here, something like that, and then make this be the tentative western edge of town. I don't know that that's enough room. I think I originally planned to come out about this far, which is why I did that. And I think I might still end up doing that because, you know, when it's extra space inside town doesn't hurt us. It's just only more fencing to put up, and that's really not that big a deal. So anyways, you know, I'm still kind of on the fence. See what I did there? Unintentionally. I'm still on the fence about where to end this up out here, but this is coming together. And I think maybe late today we put down the foundation here. If not late today, then sometime tomorrow. Alright, so let's get to it. My hero, Fozzie Bear. See what they did there? Waka waka. So I could be a tally man or a tally bear. So considering that this crept up, let's see here. Oh yeah, plainly. This should be by default on a perfect east-west. So let's just do that and say we're going to need to get rid of this. Probably don't need to get rid of this one, but use the materials for fencing anyways. It's a lot of fence. Give me fence, lots of fence. At the southern edge of town. Yes, fence me in. No, alright. Check to make sure we still got the blade on that. We do. Let's go fix it. Oh, sticks. We always need sticks. That was said ironically because we definitely don't need more sticks. But I just can't help myself. It's a disease. And the only cure is more cowbell. Or more subs. One of the two. Okay, we have an axe again. How about more cowbell and more subs? is going to be the single tallest spot in our outside fence edge. It's just going to be that corner right there. I'm not going to do that. Yep, that's going to be the line. The only times I've ever fallen through the mesh was doing this exact sort of thing. Hitting a square to bring it up, and it brings it up underneath my feet, and so essentially I end up falling right through the world. See, oh, that was the next one. Okay. So let's rinse. Did you just do that? Yeah, you did. Do it again. One more time. No, don't go anywhere, guys. Don't go anywhere. Trust me. There's more to do. Did I screw that up? Yeah, I did. Why? Open terrain level field menu. Boom. There it is. And yet, sometimes it just won't open it up. That seems to be a new behavior because it always used to do that. And now it's hit or miss. Not quite. There we go. All right. Now this is pretty close to our final grade height. In fact, I think this is pretty much spot on. So let's go ahead and carry from this spot here over like so. Once we bury this well, we'll go ahead and mark it with something up top just to remind us where that is. Because there's really no indicator once it's buried that it's there. The computer can find it just fine. They'll run right up and drink from it underground, but if I can't see it, then I forget exactly where it is. I need an iron axe for carpentry. Well, make one. Or take the one off the rack. There it is, dude. What's up? Wait, how did I end up with an extra iron axe head? I don't know, he says. Well, you know what? Let's have them make a iron, what is it? Iron ingot? Iron something? Iron something. Iron bar. Have them keep one of those on hand. And an iron plate. You see what it's not going to let us do is level the ground above the well. But we can do around it, and then I'll show you how we finish that off. Now this is just a crazy mess, but we're going to fix that. Alright, so here's our edge. I like that edge, and that edge comes to us about right here. About right here, yeah, like that. There we go. And it's not going to give us any of the stuff we really care about, but it will give us this, which I think is already... Oh, but you know what? This is too low. So let's abandon that for right now, and let's continue this mark right here. And I think that's going to tell us that that's too much of a height difference. We won't know until we finish this piece right here. Yeah, too much. So we need to come down here and bring this up one more time. This to that is probably going to be totally workable. as soon as they finish that one. Take a look at the archery range. It's going to take them a while to get to that because they're going to be circling around and running in weird places and trying to path their way to this. Now let's try that archery range. The minute it gives us one up here of this, then we are home free. Not quite yet, so we'll go with the barracks instead, see if it gives us that. They're all like, oh yeah, we'll come get in on that action. No. How about now? How about that? Nope, that's not any better. Let's go back to archery range, see if it's going to give that to us yet. Yes, you are. That means that we are home free. Because now... cancel it and do it again. Basa. Do it again. This way. More cowbell. Ding, 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 ding. Of course, this is totaling up our archery range number every time. Archery range number 6, archery range number 7. It's all right. Now, of course, we just rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat, all the way across. I don't like that already. Bring it in just a bit more. There we go. Seriously, Sand Sailor, why does that work like some of the time now? What's changed there? Now we could probably go ahead and just use the terrain. Ooh, I should probably drink something here. Now we pretty much probably just use the terrain tool because we don't have any. Well, we do still have actually a crazy drop off there. Let's see if it works. Yeah, still red. If you haven't seen my previous videos, the terrain leveling tool and buildings use different criteria for whether or not they'll allow you to build over a spot. If I go over that gap in front of us with the terrain tool, we get a bunch of red, but if I go over it with a building, we don't get that red generally. And different buildings have different tolerances. I can build a archery range, which is my go-to just because of its size, over a fair number of things that the terrain tool will not let me build over. But like the watchtower is even more forgiving. You can practically build on the side of a mountain if you want to with a watchtower. It's very permissive. Oh, mission creep. I took that right down too, didn't I? I thought I was going to make a nice crisp edge here. Yeah, no. Alright, well, that is what it is. A few more trees. It's tough to see the exact edge of the archery range in terms of where it's going to put the squares. So it's sort of easy to creep an edge over using that. We don't have any builders working at night, so once they all go off shift, it does make it a little... We have one builder working at night. But once the rest go off shift, it does make it a little bit easier to sort of do some of this sneaky stuff. I don't have to worry so much about them knocking out the archery range before I've even had a chance to remove it. You really want a nice... Let's run over here and eat something real quick, because, you know, starvation bad. So if you really want to be doing this cleaner, if you want to say that, one way is like this. Come over here, and if you build something else, that, then you come back and you build the terrain level tool, it's going to default to a perfect north, south, east, west, which I'm very grateful to the devs for doing that. And if I then come over here and I place this like so, now I come down here and I place my archery range. I'm going to keep the orientation, right? So I can come here and do that. And see, hey, that's perfect. So now I can run over here, and as long as I don't build something else, I've got an archery range in perfect east-west. Which will help stop this sort of edge creep that I've been experiencing. Like I said, only works as long as I don't build something else. As soon as I do that, I'll default it back. I talked earlier about how to bury a well, and we're going to do that in just a second. There is our southern edge, which is pretty straight. You see we definitely crept out as we were going, and that's because of that not being able to see really clearly where the box is going to go here. So if I put that there, it looks like it's right on the edge, but actually that's over the edge. You can see now if I work on that, I'm going to actually push that edge out some more. So you have to come here and you have to sort of get a feel for exactly how far out those squares go. I think that's about it. Now when I do this, yeah, I see even that just brought me out another tiny bit. So that's how you end up with that creep along the way. Now if I try and put a terrain leveling tool over the top of that well, we just completely demolish it. Or we don't demolish it. It won't build it. It'll show red and we can't do anything about it, like down there. Let's see here. Food foraging and what? Stone harvest? Well, this can just go away at this point because we've probably demolished pretty much all the stone we're going to find over in this neighborhood. Now, I want to put that marker back down, but if I do it, I lose that perfect alignment on the archery range. So, you know, just know that you're prepared to do that when you do this. And we've got an edge now that's pretty good, so I don't mind. Now, if I come here and I build this archery range out over the top of this, notice how it's not red right up next to it? This is how you actually bury a water well completely. And yet, it is still completely usable. Not only can you bury it underground, you can actually put it under a building as well. You could have a warehouse sitting right on top of that, so the warehouse worker just has to pull water basically auto-magically out of the ground. Now that we've done that one, I can come here and probably do a second from this side. Go ahead and do a third. You can still see just a little piece of it right there. So much stuff lying around on the ground. So. When you're using the archer range, do let them go ahead and level out most of this spot, because the cabin at the back, the house, the structure at the back, is what's dictating the height. And it is what I think dictates, for the most part, whether or not it's going to let you build as well. The archery aisles themselves seem pretty forgiving, but the structure is a little less so. Different buildings have different tolerances, so if you can't get an archery range into a spot, try a barracks, try a dog kennel. All else fails. Like for this final berry right here, I'll go ahead and just try an archery range and say, oh, it's not working, I just can't get it. Whatever. Pop down here and grab a barracks. Good. So I'll come here and grab a dog kennel. And look at that. There goes our water well. Notice as I'm trying to click on this square, so I've got the kennel there, I've got the water well right here. So it does take a little bit of finessing now to click the square instead of the well. But once you've done it, Boom, there it is. We'll dismantle the kennel. And now, here's a water well underground. We can run up to it and drink from it. And it's completely buried. And we can, obviously, build right on top of it. Come here now if you wanted. Build a warehouse here with water storage. And you can just pull water right out of the ground and put it right in the storage without ever moving. Let's lay out these final roadways right here and right here, bring them together, and then that's going to give us the corner that defines where our first longhouse goes. We are just a few minutes away from that, but not going to get it into this episode, I think. I think it's going to be in the next one. Too far in. Let's go right there. I think that's going to be it. So now I'm looking at my compass up top. Make sure I'm nice and straight here. You know, we're not quite ready yet. Not quite ready. Shakalaka, boom shakalaka. Now, what is your problem with that space? Okay. Alright, fine. We'll do it your way. Boom. There it is. You know, the terrain tool says no, the dog kennel says yes. Hey, tell you what, dude. Why don't you give me that? Thanks. That's the other way we get him to stop doing it and give it to us so that we can actually just do the couple that count and then blow that away and do it one more time, right out here like that. Again, look at the green arrow to make sure you're at the grade level you want. Make sure that it's not taking the height that it should be from like this square or something like that. Fill in the little divot. And that, and then we'll go ahead and cancel it. So now we're ready to bring that road down here, and I think we're pretty good all the way across this corner. Go ahead and extend the road. And that edge about right there. That's going to be it. Looking up at the compass to make sure I'm heading due south. Stop about right here. Then this road is going to come across. We already figured that out. It's going to come across about right. Let's go ahead and cut that out. Come across right here. So we're going to get rid of that one tree. Maybe both. Same problem here. Hey, I'm just not going to let you chop that out. Really? Watch this. Yeah, you're going to let me chop that out. But you're going to let me put a watchtower right here. Like that. And that's going to let me chop that right out. And you're going to let me do that again over here. That. Whoop. Broke the hoe. Dude, did you give me a broken hoe? Oh well, let me rephrase. Did I steal a broken hoe from you? There. He's like, seriously, man? Am I your hoe gatherer? Is that it? There's a joke in there somewhere, but not one that I'll tell here. All right, so now here's going to be the east-west road right there. And we're going to go ahead and connect that like so. Bada bing. This is going to be our defining spot down here. So we had this mark come out, and then we had another mark. Nope, this was the one. We brought this one out. This was going to be it. Okay, so here is the road. We're going to bring it right there. I'm looking up at my compass, so I'm getting a nice straight west line. Like that, and continue it over. Now those two will meet up, of course. But in the meantime, now I'll come here and pop this next one down. That. Check my compass again. There is our intersection defined for this spot. So now our first longhouse is going to go right here. Let's just do a little bit more site prep here, and then we can lay that foundation down. Use the kennel because it is pretty forgiving. Oh, we do have something red here that we can just go ahead and get rid of, make things easier. I mean, this is going to be buried anyways, but that way it just won't complain at us right now. Come here. Whoops. And out. Probably able to start using the archery range at this point, but dog kennel's already on my last built button, so why not? It's my puppy dogs approve. Well, I mean, it's a kennel, so probably not, but raw meat in a trough, they like that. And I'm like, yeah, where do we sign up for that? I didn't sign up for this stuff you give us. I want raw meat in a trough. And raw fish. Thank goodness there's no fish bones in ASKA. Be careful about using the left click to bring these up because it's going to delete stuff. And I mean, it's not like we have a shortage of long sticks and sticks, but this fence does use a lot of that. So leaving as much of that as we can is good. Alright, so there is our first, almost. This well is going to end up getting just barely buried. But let's give it a try. See if it's going to let me do it with the kennel. Nope. Okay, so that's where we come back to the watchtower. Watchtower's like, just come back to me, man. I'll always let you build on top of something. Watch that arrow. There's a lot of height change here, so like there's that little dip right there. You see we can't see the arrow. So we know that if I build it right now, I'm building it at the wrong height. So I want to pull it back to right there. That. Pull that edge. And then do that again. Time I'll probably spin it like that. Now, although this well is going to be buried, it's going to be too close to the surface for us to build directly on top of it, but it at least will not be like protruding. And there we go. That. Now if I come and try and put that kennel back on top, that it wouldn't let us a minute ago, it still doesn't. But if I try and put a path over the top of that, yeah, even that. So it's just not going to be visible, but it'll still be there. This one, we can see, I don't even remember where it is. It's somewhere right over here. There it is. There's a well that's well and truly buried. And we can build directly right over the top of that without any problem at all. Could even build a warehouse over it or something like that. All right, so here is our first longhouse. I like a U shape. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to leave these in place for right now just because they give us really nice east-west, north-south lines. So I'm going to come here and I'm going to go to the first housing, longhouse. And I'm going to check the side of the door. That's the side right here. So the first piece of the longhouse is going to be like this. The second piece is going to come off the side of it like that. And the third piece is going to be over like that, making a U shape. And then right in the center of the U, we put an altar. Each of the longhouses has an altar available for it. So I'm just going to use that line that I made myself now, that nice straight line. Gonna try and get as close to, whoops, wrong way. I'm going to try and mess it up. I'm putting the door towards, obviously towards town. And I'm going to come here, try and line that up as much as I can, because the other two longhouses are attached to this. So if you get this one wrong, then the other two are also wrong, and because of the length, you're multiplying, you're magnifying your error. But you really want to take the time to get this first one right if you're OCD like I am. I want that to be nice and straight. Now I'll come down here, and I'll say about like that. Bring it back just a skosh because we have plenty of room behind. In fact, you know what? Let's actually, so I'm not going to lose my angle here. So I've got it nice and straight now, but our fence lines can be back somewhere about here. So actually, let's pull these back, like to the fence or close to it. That'll give us a nice, huge courtyard here along this road. That's where we can put all of our rune stones. Those will hit all of these longhouses. They'll hit both rows of those longhouses. So let's do that. That's our center. That's our courtyard area for the rune stones. So that means that I'm coming back right here, and I'm looking to plant this about right there. That's going to work well with that road. That's going to give us rune stone space all the way down the front row of these, or we chop this little piece of road off. We bring that road down and we extend it that way, and we put the rune stones along the back side of those just to hedge them that way a little bit more. There we go. There's the foundation of our first longhouse. Now, as long as I'm over here, I'll start tossing down all these fence lines. Finish the south fence and the east fence. They start working on that longhouse. I'll give them a use for all of these long sticks and sticks that we have lying around in such huge quantities. And again, how I'm going to line this up is go back here where I want this fence line to end up. It's just going to be pretty much this corner. I'll look down there, so clearly I didn't do a great job of following that line exactly, or I didn't make that fence exactly north-south. But that's fine. I'm just going to stand here and then go ahead and put down my fence. And the rotation is going to be such that from here, two sharp poles of the fence line up and touch that tip. That is going to take more than a few tries. Oh, well, there it is. Just like that. Come down, right-click to attach. So grateful that they implemented the give us the last angle of rotation. So that makes running long, straight fences super easy. Hedge tower or fence corner? Hedge tower, the leap of faith. You run up on the hedge tower and you jump off over the edge. Let's take a look at a hedge tower and see how it looks here. I think no. Although a short piece of fence could do it. Let's try a short one first and then go from there. Oh, don't click twice. You gotta get that little green cylinder over there and then you can right-click snap it. And then, once it's snapped, you can rotate around that snap point. You can also come out here so that your camera angle looks a little bit better. You know, I don't hate it. Actually, that looks decent. It fits. And if there was no fall damage, that would make an awesome place to jump off. So, yeah. Fold. For now, same. Head back over here. You can see those poles, so it's not going to be as perfect as having those points like we had over there, but it'll be close. Come over here. I want my fence line to be about here. Grab a drink out of this well real quick, if I can find it. There it is. You know what we'll do here? We'll go ahead and hit the road maker and just put a little spot of roadway right here, so there's a visual indicator for me that there's a well underneath that we can drink from. Come over, and there we are. Hedge wall. Just using a hedge wall because it really doesn't actually have to be. I like the look of it better, and it's, you know, hardwood's pretty expensive still for us. But also because this wall doesn't even really have to do anything. So we're just a little too far that way. Need to get it like that. It's a little too far that way. You hear me, Sand Sailor? Give us a micro adjustment, please. Be one of those times where I go to a forum post and somebody's like, no, we've had that forever. Just hit Shift, Alt, whatever, and boom, there you go. Alright, so I like that. There it is. Here we are. We're lined up. Pretty straight. I think we're going to end up right where we need to be. Obviously, midway through, we can make adjustments if we need to, but then we lose that beautiful straight fence look. I'm not saying that if we lose that, I get a facial tick, but if we lose that, I get a facial tick. Oh, of course. All right, so now we've got that angle. as long as I don't build anything else, we'll keep that angle, which means I need to come here and I need to get this thing done so we get a snap point on it. Oh, there's our snap point now. Good. All right, we can take that. Boom. No, no, whoops. Cancel that. Forgot to right click. There's the right click. Before they gave us that snap point, or before I knew about it, I used to put these like this, and no idea that they could be that far apart and end up looking perfect. But once they gave us joinable fences and defense bonus from being completely fenced in, then this became even more relevant. Oh, look at that. It's going to be just 1 millimeter too close to the longhouse. Zoink! Let's see if that's still the case after it's done. I'm sure it is going to be, and I'll just end up having to move that fence a tiny bit, but that's fine if I got to just pooch that piece out. Well, so this is going to come off of that, so that's going to be too close. Let's see here, what is... Just going to end up having to... Let's see, that's a straight line there. That is a straight line, so as the longhouses move that way, they are going to run into the fence more and more and more. So as much as it pains me, I'm going to go in here to longhouse. Go ahead and spin this around like so. There's that rotation angle again, pretty much. Oh, what in actuality? That's probably going to be my line right there. The second set of longhouses away from us, so this first trio would clear that fence. The second trio, we could even just scooch it a little bit towards the north to follow the fence line, and it wouldn't look terrible. But this is probably enough to get this trio in place without messing with the fence line. Still like that. Still like that. And now... that's probably pretty close to our line. And that's going to let us build that. So we'll wait until these... Oh, that's dead on. Or close enough to it. There's our first longhouse placed. The second of the trio will go this way, and then the third of the trio comes up off the end, and that gives us a nice center courtyard. That's going to be really compatible with that well too. That's going to be in a perfect spot for the well. They'll be able to use that. It'll be right next to the road, right next to the altar. And they can put all those materials back in. Now the second longhouse will end up going basically like this. And then the third one will end up coming up just like that. Got a nice little courtyard there for an altar and a tree or a garden, large garden, something like that. I'm going to leave these trees in place because I think they'll be pretty. Hopefully someday Sand Sailor will give us a bonus for having natural trees instead of just artificially planted trees. Well, let's go ahead and start firming up this area. Since you all were watching, I just went ahead and going at the daybreak instead of making this a second episode. I'll either have to go back and split it up later or I'll just post this one as a double. How y'all doing today? I'm using the E instead of left clicking here. Because if I left click right now, I'll bring this up, but I will also probably destroy those long sticks. If you use E, you don't destroy what's on the ground in front of you. We want all those long sticks for all this fencing. Now, eventually, these road preps, so they've gone ahead and put all the rocks into them, but I haven't let anybody else have road makers than me. So these guidelines would stay, but eventually they vanish, and the rocks that were put into them vanish as well. So eventually you do want to go up here and actually make this road. And I wait until A, it's clear that I've got everything lined up the way I want, or B, I'm just afraid that they're going to vanish the rocks. It's not like we have a shortage of rocks, but still, in these roads right now, there's probably a couple hundred rocks invested. Again, I could click, or I can use E. E is pretty much my default. Now we get to keep both of these birch trees, which I like. And then we'll knock down all of this stuff to the right of me. And that's where we'll stick the archery range in. That's going to give a bonus to housing. Be able to keep this birch tree here too as well. And we're going to be able to keep the willow. That was really important to me when I started laying this site out. I looked at the height of the willow tree, the grade height of the willow tree, and the final grade that I chose is really compatible with that willow. So we're going to be able to run right up to that and keep this birch, these two. That one's going to go away because it's going to be floating in the air. But the willow tree is going to be a great spot right next to the lake. This is going to be a beautiful spot to come out and just hang out and look out in that direction. The chieftain's hut up on the mine, up on the hill, works really well. I like the way it's turning out. There's a lot to do with this terrace here yet. I don't quite know exactly how we're going to do that, but I'm liking it so far, and the view up here is really pretty. We're going to end up blowing away this whole spot and bringing it down to height, probably. Or, you know, I might actually just leave it up at that height and put the archery range up on a little bit of a plateau. That'd be fine too. Either one. It's nice to break the flatness of the village up a little bit. I know it looks like I make everything super flat, which I do. There's no doubt about it. But I'm really liking that up on the hill like that, so I could see having that second tier be a little more developed as well. I used to play Total Annihilation, and at one point I designed a multiplayer map. And of course, all four sides were, you know, the same, so that everybody had exactly the same resources and so on. My friend looked at it and he said, "Oh, look, the world is designed by an engineer." So here's a well that we're going to bury. And obviously, if I come here and I use, we'll do this again. If I come here and I use the terrain leveling tool, it's just going to give me reds all around there. But if I come and I use, I'll go with the dog kennel, because it's probably going to let me do it. No. And I'm betting that the archery range says no as well. Dog kennel says no, so does the archery range. Alright, fine, fine, fine. Be that way. My old friend, the watchtower. Other buildings say no. Watchtower says, I'm in, dude. Let's go. What do you got, man? Shotgun. Now that we've done that, dog kennel may say yes. Not quite yet, huh? Still being coy? Fair enough. What about barracks? Barracks is pretty forgiving. Barracks says, yeah, I'm in. What are we doing? Let's go. Got some gas money. Let's hit it. Bringing that back. So here you can see that green arrow is getting deeper. If I do it right now, I'm going to create a whole big depressed section right there. Make sure you bring that green arrow up on top. You know you're still working at the grade height you want. Otherwise, you start ending up with all these different little heights. If you keep an eye on that arrow all the time, and that's how you end up with a site that looks like this, just as flat as you want it to be. I'm going to come here and continue this back. Cancel it. Now, so here you can see that arrow's gone, but it's letting me actually build. So I'll take it just to come over here and bring these two up, or three up. Like that. You can see that height difference. Then I'll come back and repeat but now at the height that I actually want to be. The goal, of course, is that you get everything up to the point where you can just come in with the terrain tool and do it right. So like that, that's going to be ugly. But at least it gets this little ravine gone. Cancel it. Now the goal of all of that was so that I can come in with the terrain tool. Blood Moon is there, which means the closest one is town northwest. So we go to workstation, we go to the barracks, we go to this, we go to the patrol route. We take them off of that. And save, we go to this one. Town northwest is at the top, already good, with 6-hour wait. Boom, there we go. And now they are all on their way to that, and so am I. We only just recently got the ability to make a smoker horn. So obviously the best way is to just use the party system and the militia. But for now, this is what we got. Yo, what's up, dude? You're gonna go after my fence first. Good for you. You are my kind of idiot. How about that stamina? There's our first barracks and there's our second, so at this point we can walk away and they'll handle it. But that's just not really... I don't know. I got to get to a certain point before I'm happy just letting barracks, letting melee take care of problems. Appreciate that they started beating on a fence that they could have just walked around instead. Very kind. You two got this. Deep breath. Oh wow, look at that. First stage of the longhouse is down to just 6 wood beams. Oh, and you know what? Ages ago, I completely forgot. Ages ago, we got the leather worker upgrade done. And bingo bango, let's grab some pelt that now desperately needs to be converted. Come on, show me the actual rack. Thank you. 1, 2, 3, 4. I declare a thumb war. Set up a task here for drying out pelt times, I don't know, 5. And heavy pelt, of which we actually have one. If it's still sitting up here on the floor of our house. Nope. It done evaporated. Yeah, I was kind of worried that might be the case, but we know where the bear is. We can go back and get more. you got that? You had it. Let's go back and keep working on this, because we're getting close. What's that? Oh, mushrooms. There. What were we doing? We were burying a well. Yes, and now I need to mark that well with a road maker. And I have absolutely no idea where it was. That may be the sort of thing that we leave until later when there's not so much stuff lying around on the ground. Yep. Alright, wait until there's less stuff. Easier to spot then. Based on where our fence line is running, I think we can leave this tree in place and run the fence right through here. I think getting rid of these two is probably going to be the way to go. I was really careful not to set any timber harvesting markers over on this side of the world. Because my last village, I created a new woodcutter, which comes with a flag, of course. And I'd forgotten about that, and I created it in town, and all of a sudden I'm running back into town at one point, and my woodcutter's sitting there chopping down my favorite willow tree. Dude, what? Oh, right, because the... Ran over and deleted the flag real quick. What did I do? Oh, you know, oh, no, I went into his schedule and gave him a break. Told him he was on permanent break. I think I did that, and then I deleted the flag. But that tree had a chop out of it from then on. Yeah, almost like that one just did. Although this willow tree is going to end up having to go away, I think, because it's too low. Oh, you know, it'll just be outside the fence line, right? No, it's gonna be right inside the fence line. Yep. Oh, I might lose that one. A lot of years ago, I belonged to a group called the WPA, the Western Pyrotechnic Association. Basically, pyrotechnicians, fireworks people. And every year, there's a get-together at Lake Havasu City in Arizona, which is some amazing fireworks. It's on President's Day weekend every year. And if you Google the WPA, you can see videos from past shows. 3 days of like kind of fireworks shows you'd see at a professional show at a major city. $100,000, $200,000 show sometimes. These are all pyrotechnicians trying to impress each other and show off. The audience is very close to the show. You're right there. But of course, as a member, I can also go behind the lines and, you know, go down into the shooting areas and so on. So one year I had a lawn chair set up, a reclining lawn chair, and I was sitting back behind the firing line, more or less directly below where a lot of the show was going off. And they put a big old willow up in the sky. It was amazing. I was just staring straight up, so all I could see were Arizona stars and this willow that had just exploded right above my head. It looked like I was on the bridge of the Enterprise, just traveling through space with these stars heading towards me, and then all the stars behind them that were static. It was beautiful. Willow is just about one of my favorite fireworks. The The bigger the better, although we can't really get big ones in the US anymore after 9/11. That's looking good. Let's fill this in so that we're ready to put down that second foundation when they get done with that first section. Go back to our old friend, the archery range first. Well, this episode is about to end as well. I'll keep going, and I'll just go split the episodes later, or I'll make it a triple, but I will do a little spiel at the end of the episode, so if you hear me talking like I'm about to go away, don't worry about it. Let's see here. Are you going to give me anywhere around here? Oh, wait. There you go. That's what you're going to give me. All right, I'll take it. Because that's a good one. So now here, it says E too far away. I can't use E. Here I'll use the left click and it'll work. And I'm not really going to delete anything because it's all the way down below me anyways. Bing! Auto-magically all pops up. Yeah, that's going to get rid of that long stick. Oh well. Repeat. One more time. And again. Yes, no, maybe? Yes, no, maybe? Come on. No. You can do better than that. Maybe you can't. Maybe that's what you're going to give me. Alright. Barracks it is. Or kennel first. Let's try kennel. Kennel, I think, is driven by the little doghouse on the end, or the little entrance, exit, whatever you want to call it. So, you can often get some good results from that. Because that right there. Sort of measuring the success of something like that with how many squares ended up out in space. On this we got 6 solid, and, so you want to be careful about leveling right now, because that's the sort of thing where you may just fall right through the mesh as it comes up. The only times I've ever fallen through it was doing that exact sort of thing. So with that, we got 6 solid squares out there, and 3 that were sort of in the edge. That's not bad. Oh, that's going to be a good one. There we go. There's another 6, 7, 8. this is not the final leveling here. This is just the, will you please bring this up to the level I want it to. The final leveling is with the actual terrain tool. Even now the terrain tool would balk at doing that ravine right there. Whereas the kennel, I think, will be more amenable to it. There it was. Oops. 1 pixel too far. Alright, so in a minute the day's going to end, and I'm just going to put up my BRB screen for a second so that it makes it easier for me to go back and find the cut point. And then I'll intro day 34, since I forgot to intro day 33. That'll make it easier for me to go back and cut the videos apart later and put them into individual days again. There we go. Right there. We can bring these little divots up. I mean, the terrain tool at this point is not going to have any problem leveling all this space out for us, and beautifully. So you don't really have to bring the divots up. It's just a matter of bringing up these huge differences. So next I want to bring this roadway all the way over so that we can put that road in, and then we've got this spot to level and this spot to level. We do have some bomb making materials, and I think it's not a bad idea to knock out the rocks that we've got here at some point soon. In fact, let's grab this sled and put together 3 or 4 bombs real quick, because I think one of those bombs is right on the path that we're going to want. Okay, so into day 33. I'm going to start the day 34 in just a second. Just stick around for one moment. Okay, welcome back, day 34. ASKA Bjornborg Village. Continuing the leveling for the longhouses down in the southeast corner of the village. Getting ready to put some bombs right now to clear up some rocks out of the way. Unfortunately, our miner has been quite busy down there bringing up crawler sacks for us. So this plus a couple blood, of which I think we might have a couple left, actually. And that's going to be 3, alright. So we've got 1 left in reserve. Our first longhouse is almost done with the first phase, so pretty soon we're looking at that. And then we're going to put some people in there as soon as we can put some beds in there. Wait, where are you going, Ace? As soon as we can put some beds in there, we can go ahead and push our pop-up again. For now, let's head down to the bomb. There we go. I do like that ASKA turned on, when you build something, it puts it into the storage for it automatically. That's nice, instead of dropping it on the ground. Which, of course, makes me wonder why there is stuff still on the ground in workshops. Like, you know, I can't even put stuff on the ground unless I actually physically choose to drop it. So that means that when you guys are putting stuff on the ground, you're choosing to drop it there. What's the deal with that? What's the dealio? And why did we just stop running? We've got a rock pair out in front of me here somewhere. Oh, alright. It's uphill more than our road's going to be. That's good. We'll get rid of them anyways, but we'll grab one of these bombs. Run it down here. They do have a radius, so you can get rid of multiple rocks with one. The radius is not huge. There's a risk here. I may get none. I may get 3. I may get none. Or, I guess that was 2, so I may get 1. Oops, oh well. Not like we're down there gathering the stuff, so no great crime. I'm starting to get hungry. Well, dude, go eat something, man. That's how you do that. Alright, so let's carry this roadway out. You can get 25 squares. You can get 3 by 8, 2 by 12, 1 by 25. That first one is just spot on with our grade. It didn't go up or down, so that tells me that the rest are going to be at the right height. That exact movement right there is what will get you under the mesh. You don't happen to have a hoe on you, do you? I know you do. Thank you. There we go. Try that again. Interestingly, it's giving us the holes and not giving us the edges. Yeah, you can't bring these edges up. But these holes that are just as deep, yeah, I'll give those to you. That's fine. The terrain leveling tool is always feels a bit like a fickle partner, you know. I don't know. What have you done for me lately? Maybe I'll give you that. Maybe I won't. I'm still upset about what you said last week. So sometimes, like, you have to sort of sneak up on the terrain tool. And it finds it's giving you what you want before it even knows it. Oh, I wasn't going to do that for you. Wasn't going to let you have it. Let's do this with buildings instead, because I don't want to keep fighting all the red squares. Oh, beautiful. Look at that. So many squares we got from that one. Hey guys, look at all these squares that you could do that we actually need raised. Instead of those ones that we don't need raised. Just saying. Dog kennel makes a nice path maker because it's 3 wide and you get a consistent height out of it. And by that I mean if I use the terrain tool and let's say I make a path too wide, like this. So there's a too wide path, right? And the problem with it is that if I'm, say, building this out like I just did here, this big long trip, and if I just keep coming here and building the next piece on it, to get too wide, I actually have to get off the edge just a tiny little bit, because it's going to have to be that right there, right? So you build this, and then you extend it all the way out, you build that, then you come out to the end, and you pop 2, and you do that again. The problem is that this edge, because it rolls over, is just a fraction lower than the actual center where you're trying to keep your height. And so you run into something called accumulated tolerancing, which means that this piece is just, you know, an inch shorter, but then out at this end, you're now an inch shorter, and so you do an inch shorter again, and an inch shorter again, and over time you just keep creeping downwards. Whereas the dog kennel is using the center right here as its baseline. It's making a 3 wide path that's fairly predictable. And 3 is a nice width. You're only getting 5 instead of 8, which you could get from the terrain tool, so it's a little slower. But at the end of it, I can go and then replace it and do the next one, and it's the point that it's using as a height is in the middle. So I'm going to keep the same height path all the way along, and it's going to be 3 wide and a consistent height. If that matters, if you're just building a, you know, path across the map or something, you don't really care if it goes up or down. But if you're working in here and you want to keep your grade height consistent, then it matters. Tree in here we need to chop it. Your hose almost trashed too. He's like, yeah, because I know what you do, dude. So all I'm doing is carrying around a beat up hoe from now on. Solves the problem. Every time I go get a fresh one, I trade with somebody else for their beat up one just so you'll leave mine alone. Not saying he's wrong. 2 of those here? Yeah, you do. Going to be a gate along this fence here eventually. Just knock out a panel and put a gate in instead. No, come on, cancel it. Cancel it. Almost. Oh well. For that rock, you know, I just don't care about it. It's going to be so deep that we're going to be able to build right over the top of it with just about anything. So we'll just leave it. I will, however, chop up that piece of wood, and I will, however, pick this mushroom because there's a cheeve there for that, I think. Stage 1 of the longhouse is almost done. Oh, look at that. That is beautiful. That just gives us a big old hunk. I do wish that the terrain tool would act the same as buildings. I mean, if it's going to be possible for me to do something that lets this get terraformed up, just give it to me on the terrain tool too. Don't make me dance around to get it. Here we are. The devs would say, no, we never intended for you to to terraform the world like that. Because we end up with floating bushes and buried bushes. You keep making videos where you show people how to bury stuff and so on, then we're just going to take that away. That's how we can't have nice things, right? Because as soon as you say, oh, look at this, somebody goes, oh, yeah, you're not allowed to have that. Starts in childhood. Hey, Mom, look what I found. Oh, I'll take that. Just leave it here. Go. We are so close to filling in the hole. We did it. Yes, we did, dude. We did. Don't think we can cast our friends down under the mesh. I think they just teleport back up. No, guys, don't do that one first. Come on, do the stuff down in the pit of Inferno. Now you're going to pick pieces up. You're going to put them on that thing. Alright, let's go for archery range at this point. I think it's going to let me. Come on. No, it's going to say I'm blocked by that rock. We're actually going to have to bury that rock with a watchtower, I suspect. Let me do it with the dog kennel, maybe. It's not showing the rock in red, so it's probably still just a matter of too steep. So we just got to take off smaller bites. The old hand in the cookie jar thing. Drop a few of the cookies, you can get your hand out never. Okay. Give me the tea menu, come on. No, you're gonna, there we go. Alright, well, there we go. Did it with the dog kennel. That sounded wrong. Pressure washing simulator, right? Ah, yes, everything getting nice and flat. Check it out. Some divots and holes, but we're going to fix those with the terrain tool as it's time. Meanwhile, let's go ahead and bring our road now all the way across, since we've got a clear shot on that, looks like. Line up my compass at the top. Don't hit the right mouse button, Ace. That darn right mouse button finger. Sometimes just says, I want to do something. And that's going to be a nice space in front of these longhouses. I think our rune stones will fit really nicely down along this row. And that will be adjacent to these. It will be adjacent to these and one row over from the next row of longhouses, which I think will hit all of them. Over here to our well and have something to drink. These rocks we're going to have to get rid of because they'll be directly underneath those longhouses. They'll block that construction. Try and put one right here, and I'll miss at least one of them probably again. Got to get rid of 1, 2, let's call it 3, 4. 4 more bombs. Meanwhile, 1 wood beam, and here it is. Here's our first longhouse. Done doobie doo done done. So that will take the second. Orientation doesn't really matter too much, but I'm off to the side like this. Oh wait, wrong way. Wrong one. You go here and you say large expansion, like that. Put it like that. And I can put, oh, you know what, let's wait. Because if I put the altar in there now and then it screws with the placement of the next longhouse, that would be unfortunate. So we'll wait. But where it's going to work out is we're going to have a wooden altar. Probably might have it right directly over the top of the well if we can. Looks like might be willing to do that. Otherwise it's going to end up somewhere around somewhere around right back. Let's just do it. But there. So people will be able to worship and hydrate. Does that mean that this well is holy water? Let's continue that edge over here. That's going to be about 1, 2, right about there. More cowbell. Dun, 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 dun. Here's one place that is not going to let us build a watchtower. Even the watchtower has limits. I mean, ish. I shouldn't say that just yet. Watch this. follow the branches up above. Yeah. May. Now we got this. Bingo bango. Nice and smooth across the back. Oh, this willow tree. Yep. Looking good. Definitely did not get that southern edge straight. Oh well. I don't know, I gotta go back and tear it out and move it. Yeah, no. Not that bad. We've got a not super clear line, but pretty clear over here. So we can come and line this up, trying to just line that aisle up, essentially, with the roadway. Which looks pretty good already, actually. Oh yeah, not quite close. That's better. All right. Spent about a day, in-game day, surveying this whole area in another map. I pulled up the same seed, scouted out this location, and so I spent about a day walking around checking heights and making sure that willow tree was going to be right at the right spot so that we could keep it. Gonna give me that one, huh? Might not give me any of these. Yeah, well, you might be stuck here. One more to take us up to the cliff edge at the edge of the lake. Not quite sure how I'm going to do this edge just yet, but I'm thinking just to sort of come out just a little bit more and sort of follow that curve around so you have a nice sharp cliff edge on the edge of the lake. Bring the building right out to the end of that. Have no fence or something like that. Oh yeah, how is the game going to handle the fact that the fence doesn't go all the way around a perimeter? So we may have to bring a fence around in here just so that the game says, ah, you've completed your fencing. I have to get the game to treat cliff edges as fencing. It seems like that may be several updates away. Guess we'd have to start looking at impassable tiles. This is sort of our little bonus area. So when I was planning out the village, thinking about residential areas, industrial areas, and so on. And I imagined the eastern half, the eastern third of the village as residential. Then I ended up putting some farms in here, and I don't know that we'll keep them, but for now, they're in. You're going to have a longhouse here, you're going to have a longhouse here, then you're going to have a longhouse here, 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 and here. So there's your 6. Now at that point I think you go 7, 8, but then maybe you just go ahead and go all the way and go 7, 8, 9, and maybe something down there, a cottage or something just to fill in the space. But this space down here is going to be sort of like a bonus. You know, I go here, this is going to end up cutting off right there. And here we've got this nice space. This could be barracks in here. We want to have a barracks or two up here to give bonus to these houses. This row, and this row, I think, are going to get the bonuses from the runestones that we'll place along here. But I think that they're their effect doesn't spread much farther than this row of longhouses. In fact, I'm not even sure it might not even reach these longhouses. So there's going to have to be something up here to give some housing bonuses. Not really. I mean, the longhouses are going to have enough bonuses as well, enough anyways, between gardens and amenities. But we're going to have a archery range right here, so we could have a barracks or two down in this spot. This could be, I don't know, we don't really get anything for really nice garden areas and so on that aren't next to houses, but this could be a nice garden area where it's just sort of an RP area. Why not? We'll see. I just knew that I wanted that. What was I carrying around that spoiled? Mushroom. I don't know. But I'll bet you there's no room for this mushroom over here. Negative Ghost Rider. Got food everywhere at this point, so let's go ahead and knock down this little bit of stuff. Here's where the terrain leveling tool will mostly let us do it. He's better at knocking down than picking up. So for pretty much the entirety of spring now, just been terraforming. Anybody who's interested in building their village quickly would probably be just beside themselves at this point, because the village hasn't grown at all. It's sort of been static. But I like to do this terraforming stuff. Sets the next stage up for just being able to grow as fast as you want and build things, and you've already got the plan in place. And this is really what I'm playing the game to do, is to build and tweak and build and tweak. There's a piece of bases, because I like building and tweaking bases. Well, because I like building and tweaking bases, and because base building dude 10647 was already taken. I am going to end this episode with the end of day 34. Take a break and come back for day 35. We're down to one person watching. I know that's you, but chat if you want me to stick around, otherwise I'm going to take a break. Anybody out here helping me? Anybody? Old friend the kennel. Somebody's out here working. I wonder if they're under the mesh. That's weird. Because they were definitely out here chipping away right alongside me. They were close. Strange. No, see, here they come. Oh, the miner. Ha ha ha, the mine is here. And he's down below us mining. That's gonna be it. Alright. Okay, well here we are. Here comes our park edge, Lakeview Park. We're gonna get rid of this willow tree over here as well. Then bring this road down, make this connection here, and sort of start to flesh out this area right here. I think that our distribution warehouse is probably, boy, I don't know, distribution warehouse down here probably, because this Lakeview prime real estate, so on, feels like there should be some auxiliary housing here or something like that. Our industry could be entirely contained in this area here, which would let us do housing down through here, bring it over. That would let us take this housing here, leave it as farms, and shift that housing over here. And I don't think they get anything by being next to the lake, but, you know, RP purposes, why not? So that's where I think we are at this point. We're good to drink. And I am going to call this episode done as soon as we hit day 35. There it is. Excellent. I'm having a great time. This was a long episode of Triple. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you come back for the next one, day 35. Thanks for watching. Hit sub if you would. This is Ace. I'm out of here.